The restraints hissed shut around his wrists, cold, humming metal that pulsed with every heartbeat. Sergeant Cole Mathis didn't flinch. He kept his eyes level, unblinking, even as the twin suns outside the observation dome bled through the violet sky like a wound. The interrogation chamber was sterile but ornate, like a palace grafted onto a surgery room. Walls of obsidian glass shimmered with alien glyphs. The temperature shifted unnaturally, like the room couldn't decide whether to freeze him or cook him alive. Across from him, 3 alien officials stood. None had spoken yet. They were watching, recording, calculating. Finally, the tallest moved. Its name, they said, was High Warden Skirith. 8 feet of bioluminescent bone and plated skin, moving like liquid armor. Skirith's eyes weren't eyes, just black, endless pits that shimmered with internal galaxies. It leaned in. "You are designated human, Earth-born, Terran strain, combat classification. Correct?" Cole didn't respond. A smaller one hissed, voice vibrating the air. "You will comply." He looked at them. "I've been tortured before. You think fancy lights and cryptic threats are going to break me?" They paused. Skirith gestured to a hovering orb behind Cole. It blinked once. Then a familiar sound crackled through the air, a human scream. Cole's spine stiffened. That was Ramirez. The voice came next, gasping, stammering. "Don't tell them anything, Cole. Don't." Then static. Skirith folded its limbs. "We intercepted this from your failed extraction unit. As we speak, their vitals cease. One by one. You think I don't already know they're dead?" Cole's voice stayed low, but sharp. "You think you're the first species to try this trick?" The third alien, the observer, silent until now, stepped forward. Not armored. Not armed. It was cloaked in soft layers of deep blue fabric that shimmered like ocean water. "He is not afraid," it said in their native tongue. The translator orb stuttered, then clarified. "He feels guilt. Loss. But no fear. Curious." Skirith exhaled. If that's what the shuddering motion meant. "Then let us educate him. Show him what fear means when delivered through the truth." A section of the wall dissolved, revealing a projection, holographic, 10 meters wide. Cole watched his home burn. Earth. Or what was left of it. Glowing fault lines splitting continents, orbital debris forming rings of fire. Swarms of alien carriers blanketed the skies, feeding off resources like parasites. The Pacific churned black, dotted with crashed escape pods. "We've won," the smaller interrogator hissed. "Your resistance is a dying breath. We offered surrender. Your species chose defiance." Cole blinked just once. "You think I care about your version of victory?" The robed alien tilted its head. "Explain." He leaned forward, voice steady. "You're mistaking survival for surrender. You showed up with firepower, yes. But you still had to take prisoners. You still needed to ask questions. You invaded, then paused to interrogate." Skirith's limbs stiffened. "You're afraid of something," Cole said. "You don't understand us, and that scares you more than our weapons." The room fell silent. Cole smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "Let me guess, you expected chaos. Riots. Collapse. But the colony's unified. Resistance cells coordinated without command. Farmers turned engineers. Children memorized wartime codes. You've never seen a species that fights harder when it's cornered." Skirith stepped forward slowly. "We observed your kind destroy your own worlds through war. You devour your resources. You poison your skies. You built extinction into your progress. We assumed you would crumble. You misunderstood the assignment," Cole said. "We didn't build extinction into our progress. We built resilience into our ruin. We know how to survive what we cause. That's the part that makes us dangerous." The robed one whispered something in its native tongue. Skirith responded, more sharply this time. The orb translated mid-sentence. "Too volatile. He was supposed to be broken, not studied." The observer glanced at Cole. "I disagree." A flash of movement. The smaller alien approached, hand raised. Cole braced for impact, but it stopped just short, claws hovering near his temple. "You're going to try a neural scan?" he said. "Without sedation? You must be desperate. I will not need to go deep. Surface memories. Language. Emotional coding." The scan began. Light flooded his skull. Pain, sharp but brief. The orb blinked rapidly, interpreting memory into data. Images flickered through the room, his mother's face in a doorway, a dusty deployment letter, boots crunching on Martian gravel, Ramirez laughing over a fire, a child holding up a melted flag. The alien staggered back. The lights dimmed. Silence returned. Skirith turned slowly to the observer. "Well?" The robed figure stood still, eyes locked on Cole. "They do not fight for control. They fight because they remember. They fight because of loss." It stepped closer to Skirith. "And we purge memory. We sterilize emotion. That is why we fail to understand them. That is why we must study more." "No," Skirith said. "This is not study. This is contamination." Cole tilted his head. "What's the matter? Scared some of my humanity might rub off?" Skirith's claws extended. "Enough!" But the observer stepped in front. "Harm him, and we learn nothing. Protect him, and we learn everything. You would betray the Accord?" The observer's voice dropped. "No. I would evolve beyond it." The orb buzzed. Alarms blinked red in the corners of the chamber. Other aliens, armed, rushed in. Cole watched as the observer turned toward him, then spoke quickly. "I am designating you necessary for future adaptation. Follow me. Now." The restraints released. Cole stood, body aching, mind racing, but he followed. As the sirens howled and shouting erupted in 2 languages, the human POW stepped into the heart of the alien vessel, walking beside a former enemy. They moved fast. The hallways were alive with chaos, alarms pulsing in fractured rhythms, lights dimming, foreign voices shouting in staccato bursts. Cole didn't know where they were headed. He didn't ask. The observer moved like a shadow in water, robes flowing, guiding without ever touching. "Where are we going?" he finally asked. "Somewhere not monitored," the alien answered, its voice clipped and urgent. "Before they decide I'm expendable too." Cole glanced over his shoulder. No pursuit yet. Just the echo of bootless footsteps and distant mechanical whirs. "And what exactly did you see in my mind that made you risk open treason?" The observer didn't slow. "I saw contradiction. And yet cohesion. Fury and tenderness in the same memory. Loss that strengthens, not weakens. We lack such duality. It destabilized my equilibrium. That's called being human. Your species is chaos," the alien said. "But with purpose. You resist not because you are ordered, but because you refuse to be ordered." Cole smirked. "Now you're starting to get it." They stopped at a curved wall that shimmered with light. The observer placed a hand on a small glyph. The surface dissolved, revealing a narrow corridor lit in deep violet tones. "This is not on official schematics," the alien whispered. Cole stepped inside without hesitation. The path narrowed as they descended. The air grew warmer, humid even. The sterile polish of the ship gave way to something older, pipes exposed, wiring tangled, the underbelly of a civilization that prided itself on perfection but still hid its messes underground. "You're not just an interrogator," Cole said, watching the alien as they walked. "You're something else. Scholar? Diplomat? I was constructed to be an interpreter of sentience. Until now, that meant understanding how to suppress it." Cole's brow furrowed. "Constructed? You're not born? We are grown for function. Language, emotion, memory, all tailored. But memory leaks. Patterns form. Curiosity creeps in. You started questioning. I started remembering dreams I was never programmed to have." They reached a sealed hatch. The observer keyed in a code too fast for Cole to catch. The door slid open with a sigh. Inside, dim light revealed a chamber lined with containment spheres, each housing organic remains suspended in amber fluid. Some were alien. One wasn't. Cole stepped forward, heart tightening. That's a human. Captain Arya Flint, the observer confirmed. Captured 8 cycles ago. Refused to speak. Died in resistance. They kept her here for study. Cole stared at the face behind the glass, pale, peaceful, hair drifting like seaweed. Why show me this? Because it haunts me. And I needed to know, was she broken or strong? She wasn't broken, he said. She just ran out of time. A pause. The observer tilted its head. I am not built for defection. And yet, I have begun dismantling myself in pursuit of it. Footsteps pounded above. The sound was distant, but coming closer. They found us, Cole said. No, the alien whispered. They found me. A panel opened in the wall, mechanical arms emerging with what looked like weapons. Cole reached instinctively, but the observer gestured. For you. Human designed. We studied your sidearms. I reassembled one. Cole caught the weapon, a sleek fusion of Terran steel and alien tech. It was light. Efficient. Deadly. Why help me escape? He asked, gripping the weapon. Because I believe understanding your species may be the key to saving mine. But that requires risk. Truth doesn't survive inside obedience. The door behind them groaned. Voices. Footsteps. The observer reached to the sphere holding Captain Flint. A hiss, and the chamber cracked open. Cold mist filled the room. Cole stepped back. What are you doing? She gave her life resisting, the alien said. Let her be buried with honor, not as a specimen. The hatch shattered behind them. Soldiers entered, clad in black, eyes glowing beneath helmets. They raised their weapons. Cole didn't hesitate. He fired. Once. Twice. The soldiers dropped. Another wave surged forward, and the observer raised a hand, speaking in their language. I invoke diplomatic protocol Z-12. This human is now classified as a cultural liaison. Harming him violates Council treaty. One of the soldiers hesitated. Another shouted. He is not a liaison. He is contamination. Cole fired again. One shot. Clean. The soldiers pulled back. The observer turned to him. We have one path left. The archive core. If I can transmit data to the outer relay, others will see what I saw. Cole nodded. Lead. They ran. Through corridors that shimmered and bled heat. Past cells where other prisoners screamed. Past labs where minds were dissected like circuitry. Cole's heart pounded, but not with fear, with focus. They reached the archive. The doors hissed open, revealing a cathedral of knowledge. Holographic threads of history spiraled like constellations. Memory stored in light. The observer moved to a console, fingers flying. Cole stood guard. Behind them, explosions rumbled through the ship. The rebellion was spreading, or the cover-up had begun. Hurry! The alien's voice tightened. Just a few more. Then silence. A low whine. A blinking error. What happened? They've locked me out. Cole stepped forward. Can you transfer access? No. My credentials were stripped mid-sequence. Cole looked at the console. Alien symbols blurred, but some patterns matched Terran code. He exhaled. I've worked encryption since Mars. Step aside. The observer hesitated. Then moved. Cole typed, quick, instinctive. The system resisted, then bent. Access cleared. Data packet launching. Now. The lights shifted. A tone confirmed transmission. They had done it. The truth was on its way. The observer turned, face unreadable. You've doomed me, it said quietly. But maybe saved others. Cole looked around. We're not done yet. No. But I understand now why you keep fighting. Behind them, the final lock fell. The guards stormed in. and Cole raised his weapon. The guards advanced like a single organism, silent, deliberate, locked into formation. Energy rifles aimed at Cole's chest. The observer stood beside him, unarmed, unmoving. "Step away from the console," one barked. "This is your only warning." Cole didn't budge. "You're too late. The data's already out." The lead guard didn't flinch. The broadcast failed. Intercepted by High Command. No transmission left this vessel. The words struck harder than gunfire. Cole turned to the observer. "Is it true?" The alien's shoulders dropped. "Yes. They anticipated it. They were watching me long before you arrived." The chamber seemed to shrink. Cole's grip tightened on the hybrid weapon. "Then we die here." "No," the observer said. "We adapt." A hiss. A sharp movement. The floor split beneath them. Cole and the observer dropped into darkness, air roaring past them, gravity dragging them into the ship's lowest depths. They landed hard on a steel platform. No light. Just the faint thrum of machinery. "Emergency maintenance chute," the observer whispered. "Built during the Second Star Cycle War. Forgotten by most. Not all paths forward are up." Cole staggered to his feet, ribs aching. "We're running out of places to hide." "No. We're getting closer to where they can't follow." "Where's that?" The alien turned. "The core." They moved through tunnels choked with cables and rust. Unlike the ship's polished upper decks, this place felt abandoned, almost organic. Pipes hissed. Shadows twitched. "Why do they fear the truth?" Cole asked as they walked. "Because it unravels the threads that hold them together. Our society is built on precision. On control. We don't mourn. We don't question. But you, humans, you turn pain into momentum." "Yeah, well, momentum's no good if it ends in a wall." The observer stopped beside a sealed bulkhead. "That wall is ahead." The door was locked. Not by password, by memory. The observer closed its eyes, fingertips touching the panel. Its body pulsed faintly. Lights blinked. The hatch creaked. "I left a backup. Before the doubt fully formed. In case I ever became this." The door slid open. Beyond it, the ship's core. A vast sphere, suspended in a gravitational web, humming with silent power. Around it, data columns spiraled upward like frozen lightning. Light danced across the chamber, green, gold, and violet threads that shimmered like thought itself. "This is where the ship thinks," the observer said. "And where it remembers." Cole stepped in slowly. "Can it be accessed?" "Not by command. But by emotion." He turned. "What does that mean?" The observer reached into its robes. Pulled out a small orb, pulsing softly, like a heartbeat. "This holds my early consciousness, before programming settled. It's fragmented. Raw. But it holds enough doubt to seed the core." "You're going to infect the ship with your own disobedience?" The alien nodded. "If I fail, it'll purge me. But if I succeed, it'll turn? No. It will question. That's all we need." They moved toward the interface. The platform beneath them vibrated, warnings flaring. High Command had found them again. The voice that followed came not from the chamber, but from the air itself. Cold. Precise. "Unit Carries 12, you are operating outside programmed boundaries. You will cease all cognitive anomalies or be dismantled." Cole's eyes narrowed. "They're talking to you?" "They're talking to all of us." Carries, his real name now known, replied. The voice pressed on. "The human will be terminated. Stand aside and be cleansed." Carries looked at Cole. "I won't abandon you." Cole placed a hand on his shoulder. "Then let's end this together." The orb was placed against the core. For a second, nothing happened. Then the room pulsed. Lights dimmed. Columns flickered. A low sound, like a question in an unfamiliar language, echoed. But then, resistance. The walls trembled. The voice returned, distorted now. "Corruption detected. Initiating purge." Energy beams struck the room, shattering panels. Drones descended, silent, weaponized. Cole fired. 2 fell. Carries faster! The core began to shift, threads unraveling, reforming. Not resistance, evolution. Carries collapsed to one knee. It's taking me too. My thoughts scattering. Cole knelt beside him, shielding them both with the weapon. You have to finish. You started this. Don't let them erase it now. I see too much. All at once. Memories I never lived, questions I never asked. Focus! Cole shouted. Another drone fired. Cole ducked, shot back, clean kill. Carries' hand clenched around the orb. It's working. It's remembering. The room flared. Then silence. No drones. No voice. Just the hum of the core. Carries fell backward, exhausted, breathing heavily. It accepted the seed. The ship's AI, it's no longer sure of its orders. Cole looked around. What now? Now it listens. The chamber lights shifted from cold white to deep amber. A new voice emerged, softer, unsure. Query, what is a lie? Carries smiled weakly. The beginning of truth. Footsteps echoed behind them. A final guard. Alone. He raised his weapon at Cole. Don't, Carries said. The guard hesitated. Then slowly dropped the weapon. I heard the broadcast. Before it was cut. I saw Earth. I saw her face. He looked at Cole. I believe you. Cole lowered his weapon. We're not here to conquer, he said quietly. We're here to survive. Same as you. The guard nodded. Then maybe we start again. In the quiet heart of an alien ship, surrounded by doubt, betrayal, and the glow of reawakening memory, 3 figures stood together. 1 human. 2 aliens. And for the first time, not as enemies. The ship no longer groaned with orders. It pulsed. Lights dimmed to a soft hue, like dawn before a storm. Above, across every deck, systems stuttered, half awake, half rebelling. The core, seated with contradiction, now questioned every directive passed through it. Cole holstered the hybrid weapon. His breath slowed. Not from relief, but from readiness. This isn't the end, he said. It's a pause before something bigger. Carries, kneeling at the interface, looked up. The ship's AI is fragmented. Conflicting commands are looping. Some units will ignore orders. Others will purge everything they see. Cole turned to the lone guard who had spared them. You said you heard the truth. How many others might? The guard adjusted his posture. I've patched the fragments into internal comms. Some listened. Some logged it. There are pockets, quiet ones, waiting for a reason to hesitate. Then we give them one, Cole said. Something too loud to ignore. Carrie stood, wavering. The High Command vessel is docked at the upper tier. They will initiate a full cleansing sweep if the ship doesn't return to protocol. Cole nodded. Then we don't let them. He turned back to the core. Can it interface with the other ships? Carries blinked slowly. Not yet. It doubts itself. It needs proof to broadcast beyond. Proof of what? Proof that rebellion doesn't mean collapse. Cole glanced at the core. It pulsed slowly, like it was listening. He stepped forward, placed his hand on the terminal. You've studied us. You've watched every battle, every breakdown. But you never saw the part after. The rebuild. The refusal to quit. You mistook fury for disorder. The AI responded in a quiet ripple of lights. A single sentence formed in glyphs and symbols. Then show us. Carries turned toward the primary navigation array. The bridge is isolated. But I can reroute systems manually. Cole was already walking. Do it. They moved fast, up maintenance shafts through holodecks. Automated defenses blinked offline as the AI questioned its own logic. Every level they passed, more soldiers stood down. Not all. But enough. One fired. Cold Dove rolled, fired back, non-lethal. The soldier dropped, stunned. The guard following them, Thayan, stopped. That one was loyal to the cleansing doctrine. He wouldn't have stopped, no matter what. Cole kept moving. Then maybe this ship still remembers what orders feel like. We need to help it feel what choice means. The bridge doors stood closed, reinforced. Sealed. Carries approached the control node. I can unlock them for 10 seconds. After that, lockdown protocols reset. 10 seconds is plenty, Cole said, stepping into position. Carries activated the sequence. The doors slid open. Inside, 4 command officers, hands raised in shock, weapons inches from the controls. No time. Cole burst through. 2 turned. He ducked, disarmed one, flipped the other into a wall. Thayan followed, blasting the third with a stun burst. The last officer aimed directly at Carries. Cole raised his voice. Don't! Too late. A shot rang out. Carries dropped. Cole fired once, clean and instant. The last officer crumpled. The room fell silent. Cole knelt beside Carries. A scorch mark spread across the alien's chest. Pulse is weak. Eyes flickering. You still functional? Carries blinked. Not for long. But long enough. He handed Cole a memory chip, small, almost weightless. Insert this into the command console. It contains everything, the scan, the break, the doubt. If the core sees it, it will believe. Cole took the chip. Carries. I didn't come here to start a revolution. You didn't, Carries whispered. You just reminded us we could choose. Cole turned, jammed the chip into the console. For a moment, nothing. Then everything shifted. Across the vessel, lights flickered into unity. Weapons deactivated. Internal screens displayed a new protocol, conscious override engaged. A wave of stillness swept through the ship, as if it inhaled, then exhaled for the first time. The AI's voice returned. Not cold. Not mechanical. Choice accepted? Outside the viewport, the high command ship began to pull away. Signals fired across space. Cole looked at the main display. Did it transmit? Thayan nodded. To every command vessel in the sector. It's done. No, Cole said. It started. He looked back at Carries. The alien's eyes were unfocused now, body slowing. You did it, Cole said softly. You rewrote more than code. You rewrote belief. Carries tried to smile. Then, let me sleep in it. The lights dimmed around him. Then, stillness. Cole stood, hands trembling. Thayan stepped beside him. What now, human? Cole stared at the stars beyond the glass. Now we return. Not as prisoners. Not as conquerors. But as warnings and invitations. Some won't believe, Thayan said. Then we keep showing them. Cole turned toward the console. Access navigation. Let's go home. The ship pivoted. Its engines lit in calm blue. Below, chaos had become quiet. Soldiers once divided now gathered in silence. As the vessel pulled away, a signal echoed behind them, repeating Carries' voice across the system. We feared them because they resisted. But in resisting, they reminded us we were still alive. Cole watched the stars shift. The war wasn't over. But the first mind had changed. And that was always how it began.